Hello everyone. Today I come again with a new editorial page of Indian Express of date 1st October 2025. So let's begin. The Indian Express. The first topic is prevent the atrocity. Latest NCRB data frames an urgent change for governments. Violence against STs cannot be allowed to continue or rise. The latest data from National Crime Bureau reveals a disturbing trend. Registered cases of atrocity against scheduled tribes in 2023 increased by 28.8% in comparison to the previous year. Part of this steep jump in numbers can be attributed to the conflict in Manipur that began in May 2023. The state registered only one case of violence against STs in 2022, whereas in 2023 it reported 3,399 cases. But the performance of the states like Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, with the second and third highest reported cases of atrocities against scheduled tribes respectively, is also cause for concern. In 2022, Madhya Pradesh reported the highest number of crimes against STs, followed by Rajasthan. While the rise in numbers can also be traced to a higher level of awareness and reportage, the figures are still disconcerting. Governments must address the problem through ground level interventions. A more inclusive politics and policy is urgently needed. In the last couple of years, especially, the center has undertaken several initiatives for tribal outreach, like the Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan and Dharti Aba जनजातीय ग्राम उत्कर्ष अभियान. At the same time, atrocities against STs continue and all too often show an increase. In Madhya Pradesh, where the BJP has been in power for more than 2 decades and where STs account for 21.1% of the total population according to 2011 census, cases of grievous crimes against STs continue to be reported. Most recently, in July, four tribal youths were allegedly picked up and beaten by police on suspicion of theft, and in May, two men were allegedly beaten to death on suspicion of cow slaughter. Earlier in July 2023, months before the assembly elections, a video of a man urinating on a member of a tribal community from Sindhi district went viral on social media and became an electoral issue. Then Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan invited him to the CM's official residence and washed his feet. Photo ops may help in pampering over the problem in the in the short term, but to dispel an embedded and entrenched social bias against tribal communities, there is no alternative to sustained social awareness and senis- sensitization. Sorry, and sensitization programs. If BJP governments have evidently not been able to stem the atrocities against tribal in MP, the erstwhile Congress government in Rajasthan, the latest NCRB data covers the tenure of the Ashok Gehlot government, also did not set up to the challenge, despite its promises of inclusive politics. While Madhya Pradesh, due to its vibrant Adivasi politics, has a charge sheeting rate of 98.4% in the case of atrocities against the STs, for Rajasthan the rate is only 42.3%. It shows a lack of active effort from the administration to follow through on such cases. The new Rajasthan government, the BJP won the assembly elections in 2023, must correct course. A Viksit Bharat cannot be achieved without an end to atrocities against the most marginalized communities in the states. The second article, a plan built on sand by Raja Mandala. Even if all sides profess support for Trump's Gaza peace proposal, implementation is fraught with pitfalls. When the might of a great power is combined with the boundless egotism of its leader, it can set in motion grand ventures, but those qualities alone rarely suffice to see them through. The enduring global weight of the United States, despite incessant talk of its decline, and President Donald Trump overweening ambition to be remembered as a man of peace have produced bold initiatives to end wars in Europe and the Middle East, yet the prospect of success remain uncertain. There is a little doubt that Trump is personally committed to promoting peace. In his second inaugural address in January, he declared his intent to be peace president. He enjoys a rare moment of dominance over the US political system today. It is tempting, even cynical, to reduce his initiative to barely hidden craving for the Nobel Peace Prize, but it would be wrong to dismiss his willingness to expend political capital on ending what he claims are seven wars around the world, including between India and Pakistan. The problem lies elsewhere. Trump's commitment to peace is not matched by patience, the hard work of diplomacy, or the sagacity to grasp the tragic roots of conflict and the arduous road to reconciliation. Anyone familiar with Middle East knows that its political terrain is littered with the wreckage of failed peace initiatives. That is not deterring Trump. Despite setbacks in Ukraine, where he had promised to end the war in a day, Trump unveiled on Monday a sweeping 21-point peace plan for the Middle East. He proclaimed it could be one of the great one of the great days ever in civilization. The hyperbole was matched by his lack of false modesty, introducing the Board of Peace that would supervise the agreement. Trump announced it would be chaired by none other than President Donald J. Trump of the United States. The declared goal of Trump's proposal is to end the Gaza war and set out a roadmap for peaceful Israeli Palestinian coexistence. Unveiled after consultations with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and leaders from multiple Arab and Islamic states, the plan includes an immediate ceasefire, the exchange of Israeli hostage and Palestinian prisoners within 3 days of agreement, phased withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, delivery of humanitarian relief, interim government interim governance of Gaza by a technocratic, internationally supervised Palestinian committee under a board of peace, disarmament of Hamas militias coupled with amnesty for those willing to lay down arms, a framework for economic reconstruction and a political pathway toward eventual Palestinian statehood. The plan has been formally welcomed by several Arab and Muslim states including Egypt, Indonesia, Jordan, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey and the UAE. Their endorsements lend the initiative a measure of credibility, but the official statements are couched in nuance. These governments praised Trump's personal commitment and expressed readiness to work with Washington, but stopped short of endorsing every provision. The Arab position remains clear: an unambiguous end to Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories and the unification of Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem into a sovereign Palestinian state. Netanyahu, however, has repeatedly rejected the idea of Palestinian statehood for Arab capitals, praising Trump is politically safer than voicing open skepticism. Israel, for its part, has not rejected the plan, but Netanyahu has made clear that if Hamas refuses to comply, he will finish the job in Gaza. Trump, too, had promised that the US will back Israel fully should Hamas resist. For Israel, there could be many opportunities to argue that Hamas is not abiding by the plan. For Hamas, the terms amount to unconditional surrender and exclusion from future governance. Unsurprisingly, Hamas and other militant groups have dismissed the plan as a one sided deal heavily tilted toward Israel. Within Israel, Trump's far right supporters are equally skeptical, opposed to full withdrawal from Gaza or the creation of neutral Palestinian Authority. Even if all sides profess support, implementation will be fraught with pitfalls. Disarmament, demilitarization, and the establishment of a political authority in Gaza are deeply contentious in any peace process. Each side will find excuse to stall or abandon the process. Trump's call for an ambitious multinational stabilization force and broad international oversight faces serious challenges of legitimacy, coordination, and resources. The logistical burden is immense. Delivering aid, rebuilding Gaza's shattered infrastructure, and restarting its economy will take years of painstaking work. Ongoing violence could derail reconstruction at every step. Trump's difficulties in Middle East will resemble his challenge in Ukraine. His bold claim that he could end the conflict in 24 hours inevitably collided with reality. Despite direct overtures to both Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky, neither Russia nor Ukraine has accepted Washington's terms. The recent remarks suggest Trump may already be preparing to wash his hand of the process. In both theaters, Trump penchant for grandstanding is evident. What remains doubtful is his ability to stay the course. Peacemaking requires persistence, compromise, and a deep understanding of conflict dynamics. Qualities Trump has really displayed. The efficacy of any peace plan rests on the willingness of combatants to make painful concessions. Even successful interim measures like ceasefire or prisoner exchanges remain fragile without internal consensus in the political and security establishments of the parties involved. Trump's appetite for political risk is enormous, and his desire for peace may well be genuine. His initial gains, drawing on the weight of US power and his readiness for high stakes maneuvers, create dramatic headlines, but sustaining those gains amid the complexities of the ground is another matter altogether. History shows that even determined peacemakers armed with patience, legitimacy, and institutional support struggle to overcome entrenched enmities. Trump brings none of these attributes. What he does bring is political bravado, diplomatic energy, and the extraordinary leverage of US power. Whether those can be translated into lasting settlements in Gaza or Ukraine is another matter. For now, Trump's peace plans are ambitious declarations resting on Shanky. That is it in the article. Thank you so much.